that we like to create is lots of little clips from this podcast. And so I find that the question answer format, if we, loosely stick to it, then it means that we're going to be able to capture your nuggets of gold in, little 3-minute clips that people can take away.
It's a similar format, so I understand.
Perfect. Because then you can share them. I can share them. LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, blogs, articles. It all comes from, this one beautiful conversation. So we're actually nearly ready. I'm just checking. We're live on a couple of different places there. And I'll just check out Facebook really quickly, my man. But this is exciting. So what time is it in Los Angeles right now? Late, right?
It's a little bit after 6 p.m.
Oh, that's okay. You had an early dinner tonight then. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that we found a time together. That's amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and welcome everyone to the podcast. Everything looks good. Well, welcome back to the Coaches to the Moon podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We are blessed today to be joined all the way from Los Angeles, California by Mr. Joe Nicassio. He's an author. He's an international speaker. He's an elite business and marketing coach and mentor. He's a really interesting dude. I've been studying you for the last couple of days, man, and I'm really excited to hear what was it that got you named the very best copywriter in Los Angeles a few years back. So, Joe, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, what got me that is, I made $1 million, lost everything, and I started learning copywriting. I spent 7 years around Jay Abraham, and that's where I was exposed to some amazing people. I took Brian Keith Voil's course, Advertising Magic, and I really just learned it, and I owned it, and I got very good at it. Although copy is actually really hard work. I have to put my mind in the right frame to do it. But I had a partnership with a guy named Michael Levine, who has Levine PR. It's actually called LCO now, Levine Communications Office. And he wrote the book Guerrilla PR. And so I worked with him, and I convinced him that copy was something he needed to do. And I helped write some copy, and I introduced him to the idea of risk reversal, which was at first repulsive to him, but he adopted it. And the copy that I wrote for him worked very well. And he happened to be in an agency that awards people for doing well. And he has the very best of LA awards, and he put me on that list. So it's quite an honor. Well done.
And a fantastic draw card to use in the future as a marketing coach, man. Copywriting's funny. Copywriting is something that I always thought I was good at until I learned how to do it.
Well, today I help people start businesses. And so I teach the copywriting. I teach some copywriting hacks for my people so they can use it. But I'm more concerned with helping people build a holistic business, and copy is just a piece of it.
100%. Lots of moving parts that we'll get into over the span of this little conversation here, man. So as I said, Joe, I have been looking into your, digging into your archives a little bit over the last few days, which is a right joy, getting my 10,000 steps in, listening to a few of your interviews, that sort of thing. One quote that kept coming up was that every master was once a disaster, something that you've said a lot of times. And you mentioned it before. You built yourself up, you lost everything. And as a guy who's lost everything, and you spent almost 15 years building back up from debt and anxiety and depression, now looking back, do you believe that failure is a big part of success?
Wow. It's a lot more painful than people think it is. You can fail small, you can fail big. One of the lessons I learned from Jay Abraham after I failed, I got exposed to Jay, and he was, it's very important to run tests. Testing is so important, to run little tests. It's okay to lose $100. It's not okay to lose $1.25 million. Okay. So a lot of people are advocates for failure, and it is part of the process. I definitely learned more through the process of failure, but it's painful. The class yell for the School of Hard Knocks is ouch. And I really wish it on no one. And there's so many things we can do to prevent people from failing in the first place. There's this saying that 9 out of 10 people fail in business, and my comeback is not on my watch. Let's nail it the first,
Yeah.
Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. If you're failing, it means there's pieces to your knowledge base that they didn't give you in school. They didn't give you in the business world. A lot of people accidentally find the right things to do, but we can accidentally, there's a lot of ways we can set, if I gave you a list of the top 10 failure ways and if how to prevent them, and you actually prevented those top 10, there's 11, 12, and 13 that can still jack you up. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I bet there are. It's interesting, the concept of failing big and failing small, because testing in the marketing world, especially online now, where testing can be so instantaneous, you can turn things on and off like this. You definitely do need to have a few small failures to figure out the one that works. But in doing small tests, it does stop you from having the one big flop at the end. Because I can't imagine how painful it would have been in the pre-internet days to plan a big advertising campaign with executives and TV commercials and magazine and print, and it go out and then just crickets come back. Now, you were in
marketing. How did it happen to me? I lost $7,500 on a campaign that just fell flat, and I could have prevented that by running tests beforehand and getting a more resonant message. Message
is big, right? Message is massive, and clarity of your message.
Message is really important. The wrong message can really slow you down. The right message can be a definite accelerator. But according to John Caples, who wrote Tested Advertising Methods, he said that 40% is list, just being in front of the right people. If you're trying to sell men's products to women, it's going to kill everything if you got great messaging. Number 2 is your offer. And number 3, being in front of the right people is 40%. Having the right offer is 40%. And the copy is 20%. It's a critical piece. But I think a lot of people think, I have a marketing problem or a sales problem or a storytelling problem. What they really have is their offer is it's flat. It's dead. And if we fix the offer, a lot of other things fall back in place. So, the messaging is important, but it needs to be balanced out. Like, do I really know who my people are? Can I get in front of them? And am I making an offer that really solves their problem? And now I'll speak it well with good language. So the language is definitely important. So here's a mistake people make. They get hooked on the language. So they're worried about what are the right words to say to get the sale. And that's not, you want to say, what do I need to give to earn the business, which is the offer. If you want to receive a lot of money, you got to give a lot of value. And so it's the offer that you give. You'll wrap the language around that, but that's the point of the language, is to move people to an amazing offer. And if that amazing offer isn't there, don't worry about what to say. What am I actually giving? So I make somebody's life, I'm a massive contribution to the clients I serve, so I can really change their life, because we spend money on things that make our life better, a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely we do. And one of those things that makes your life better is an abundance of leads in your pipeline. If you're a business owner, it's qualified leads. I know it's one thing that you would pull me up on there. Not just leads. And it's not just the white pages. It's not all just leads, are there? So, but the offer is an interesting one. I actually started working with beginner coaches because I realized that so many of them don't have the right offer. And what I found is that it's very easy to dig into speaking to people and assuming too much knowledge and saying that, okay, say you're an expert and I'm an expert in marketing, digital marketing. If I go straight in and say, I'm going to help you to increase the data retention on your Facebook pixel, it's not particularly the most attractive offer in the world. So how do we write an offer?
Everybody's even aware about that.
No, absolutely. So what do you think are the secrets of creating a good offer?
Well, I think the biggest secret is simplifying it. Okay. If you have a good offer and you present it, I can help you get this big promise, but here's the 3 things that stop you from getting that promise. And I have a program. Here's the 3 fixes and much more when you join my program. Would you like to join us? Now that might be really attractive, but if I keep talking, the more I talk, the more people lose interest.
Mm.
So you want to make, have you ever heard of the Lotus car, the Lotus sports cars?
Oh yeah, yeah, Lotus, the
They're,
little ones.
yeah, they're little and they're lightweight and they're fast. They do a whole ad campaign that, the speed of light, if you want to go faster, build in lightness. And what people do is they have these long protractive offers that lose people. And you want to just really get down to, here's the promise, here's the three problems you're probably facing. And if you have enough empathy and research, you know what the three problems are. And here's the three ways we fix it. And much more. We go deeper in the program, but conceptually, are you interested? Would you like my help? One of the greatest sales questions is, you learn to get to know about somebody, and then at some point you declare your expertise. I'm a sales expert, marketing expert, trusted advisor. What's one specific thing in your business that if you change that one thing would make a big difference? And they'll say it. And if you can help them with that, you know what? I can help you with that. I eat problems like that for breakfast. Would you like my help? Okay. And if you've got 30 minutes and $20, I'll help you with it right now. Mm-hmm. See, a lot of people, here's one of the problems is too many people are trying to do high ticket sales, 10K deals, 20K deals. But how can you possibly have the confidence to do 20K deals if you haven't developed the confidence to do $20 deals? So I created a whole game and course and masterclass just around that.
Wow. That's an interesting one. I think a lot of coaches go into the game. And to be honest, one of the main reasons I love working with coaches is because of the high ticket thing. Because as a marketer, I can get you leads. If I can help you to bring in a high ticket sale, you've made a lot of your money back very quickly. And so that's attractive for me. It's attractive for them. But you're absolutely right. A lot of coaches have never sold anything. And then suddenly they're on the phone trying to sell a $3,000 program. So do you believe that learning lower ticket sales is actually a really key element to building a successful business?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like going to the gym and if you can't hit the heavy weights, start with the small ones and build that conversion confidence. Get that confidence that I talk to people, I have conversations, and those conversations turn into cash. I have more conversations and they turn into cash. And what's really cool about it for coaches specifically is if they can close that $20 deal and they deliver really well on that 30 minutes, for example, the customer's happy. And now you've given somebody a great experience. So now when it is time to talk about that 3 to 5K program, it's easier to go from 0 to 20. It's easier to go from $20 sale to 5K than it is to go from 0, never bought from me before, to 5K.
Wow, that's a really interesting one, Joe. I'm going to have to think about that one myself in my business.
The most important number in our business is the lifetime value of a customer. And so you want to think of the fourth sale first. I just made this $20 sale, but it's not the end of our relationship. It's the beginning.
Think of the fourth sale first.
Yes.
That's a
How do you engineer your process? So, right. Usually it starts with a lead magnet. That's the first sale. Even free needs to be sold.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You got to free. You have to sell, you got to work to sell free, give away your lead magnet. And then, at that point, I have a group coaching program. I'm a business coach. I created Employee Escape Plan, and I love coaching people who already know what their business is. I also like helping them figure it out. But I discovered I can't mix the two crowds. If you're already in business, we can work on everybody's business. Everybody's at a different level and group. But if I bring somebody in still trying to figure out, like, what the heck what business should I start? What do I want to be when I grow up? It takes the whole group down. So I found that this $500 sale, businesswisdomquest.com. I'm just doing a landing page there, a waiting page, wait list. But if I can help people figure out what seed to plant, what's the right business for you, okay? I'm not taking them into my 10K one-on-one. I'm taking them into a $500 experience where I get to spend 8 weeks with them in a group, videos, worksheets, all that. And at the end of that, once they graduate and I know, okay, Now I know what business to start. Now we can put on the warrior hat and get to work.
Wow. That's a really, really valuable program for these people. Firstly, $500, 8 weeks with you. But also then I think the knowledge of splitting people into different groups, depending on their experience base, is massive. And that's where I think a lot of the online space has fallen into this kind of cookie cutter routine of this is my program, it works for everyone. Well, it's just not the case.
That's a silly idea.
Well, it's a lot of people making money off these $47 courses, right? That they sell 1,000 of. And then
I don't, there are people making money on their $47 courses, but I'd rather do one 5K deal than a 100, whatever, $47. It's hard. It's easier to make rent when you do at least a 2K deal, but if you're doing $47 deals, you got to, if you're having a slow month, you got to put a lot of marketing engine into, but the $47 deal is a good front end to your more epic experience. I'm a big fan of not having, they have these things called the Ascension Ladder, the free thing, and then the $7 thing. I think it's just too much work. It's just too much work to create 9 levels of business. So like, what's your free thing that's epic? And then how can I get people into my 3K program or 5K program? And then, my one-on-one 6 months, 10K, 20, it's going to go to 20K, Yeah, I think it's really important. So you want to think, I learned something from Marissa Murgatroyd, the like this pathway to profit, message to money pathway, which is really about what is the first way you bring into. So I have a book. The first thing that I have some Facebook ads running now, and it's really my job is to flip a switch, generate 100 leads, spend a couple $100, flip the switch off. Okay, but the lead magnet is the quit your job manual. Okay, it's the quit your job manual. So there's a lot of people that don't like their jobs and they want to quit.
Yeah.
But the thing is, okay, you made the decision, I want to quit my job, but then like, what business do I get into? So the next logical step in the message to money pathway is, like you want to quit your job, start a business. Well, what business? Well, you better choose wisely, because if you get it right, you can have a great business. But if you get it wrong, you can crash and burn and fail like so many other people. So if you want to learn how to do this, once every 4 months, once a quarter, I do a business wisdom quest with a group of people to help them figure this out.
Hugely important. And a lot of people do have that idea for a product or a service, but then they're missing a lot of stuff, which brings me on to wanting to ask you if you could please explain to the audience and viewers what it is that you call the Mousetrap Syndrome, and give young business owners some advice on how to avoid falling into that.
Well, we've heard that if you build it, they will come. Feel the dream syndrome, or if you build a better mousetrap, they'll beat a path to your door. And the truth is if you build a better mousetrap and if you don't have good marketing and sales, you'll end up with a garage or warehouse full of unsold mousetraps. So, marketing, if you have a great product, let me give you the keystone to this. Innovation creates new ignorance. Innovation creates new ignorance. So you invented something new. It didn't exist before. Just because you invented it doesn't mean the world knows it. And that's why marketing and promotion is so important, because if innovation creates new ignorance, the cure for ignorance is education. And so education-based marketing is golden today, to educate people to make them aware of your innovation. I created something, one of my innovations is this thing called the Business Happiness Blueprint. And what it really came out of is I was not happy with the way other people teach business, because so many people take these courses to learn business and then they go fail in business. Like, that's a failure of education.
Yeah.
So I said, well, how can I create a format where people can start a business and they can succeed in it? And it's really based on this idea of do what you love, share the love, receive the love. Okay. And it's about choosing your business wisely, and then branding. There's a sequence, create your offer, storytelling, promotion, lead nurture, and then receive the love, fill your calendar, close sales, and create the wow advocates that will preach your brand. But the thing is not everybody even believes it's possible to actually have work that you love and enjoy.
Mm.
So yeah, that's what it's really all about. And so if innovation creates new ignorance, then I need to let people know I do have something new. It is unique. It is superior than the other ways out there. And you need to stop in your tracks. You're scrolling on your Facebook, but you need to stop here, because if you struggled in business or failed in business before, stop here, because that ends right now. Let's figure it out. Warren Buffett said risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. So anyway, the Mousetrap Syndrome is, just because you create something amazing doesn't mean that, like, a lot of people think that it sells itself, and it's just like bullshit. Nothing sells itself.
Yeah, I saw that a lot in the restaurant world. I used to own a cafe, and cafes was a fun little job. Before that, I had aspirations of being like a fancy chef. I was a chef for about 13 years. And when I was young in that game, all I wanted to be was this big hotshot, fine dining chef, own restaurant, that kind of thing. As I started working in nicer and nicer restaurants, I realized that a lot of these great chefs up the top end, they were no better than chefs who had failing restaurants. They were just people with a better brand, or they were on more TV shows, or they're in more magazine articles. And often the most talented people who could cook the best meal of your life, their restaurants would be empty because they relied on that one thing.
Chefs have notoriously been treated really bad, and they don't make the best wages. Have you ever seen the movie Supermensch?
No, I haven't, no.
The documentary was done by Mike Myers, but it's about a guy named Chef Gordon who he made Alice Cooper. He was Alice Cooper's first manager. It's a wacky story. It starts with he's a correctional officer, and then he takes LSD, loses his job, gets into 2 fights in the same day, and ends up managing Alice Cooper. But one of the other people that he managed was Emeril Lagasse. And he made Emeril Lagasse. And one of the things people don't know is Emeril did not receive a salary for being on the Food Network, but he did have permission to market or sell any of his own products. And one of the things Emeril does is, let's kick it up a notch, bam.
Yeah.
Well, that's his seasoning. And he got his seasonings in all the grocery stores, and that's what made him most of his money.
There you go. He was able to market. He was able to sell. Wasn't relying on his product, his innovation, because people were still ignorant. So I thought that was that's really interesting. I didn't know that was how he was selling those products. Emeril, for anyone in Australia, he's not massive in Australia. People probably don't know him as well as they would in America, but he was a lot like Jamie Oliver level before Jamie Oliver was around. Yeah, he was
absolutely. He was a precursor to Jamie. He was the first really celebrity chef. I mean, there was Julia Child many years ago, but he monetized it. And I think you really should watch that movie, because that's part of your background and stuff. And it's actually a brilliant movie. I don't know where you'll find it, but Supermensch, MENSCH. Mensch is like a Jewish word for a trusted advisor, I think.
Yeah, I've heard that more and more lately. I don't know. I think some TV show I was watching focused on some Jewish businessmen or something, because I've heard that word mensch more and more lately. It's a good one, man. But that's a really, really great. It's a great struggle of a lot of the coaches I speak to, I think, which is exactly what you've just spoken about. Is I've got a certificate now in neuro-linguistic programming, or I am now a qualified fitness coach, or I've created this new program. The doors are open. Let them flood in. However, there's so much competition these days, and no one cares about your business as much as you do. And I know that as well as anyone, which is why marketing is so massive. And another quote of yours, I got a lot of your quotes, man. I enjoy your quotes.
Let me say one thing. You got those coaches that can deliver. Hold that question.
Of course.
They can deliver the goodies, but business is not just about delivery. It's about attract, convert, and deliver. And so you can be the best coach in the world, but if you don't have marketing to generate the leads and you don't have a good sales process, you'll fall flat. So you need all three. Ask your question though.
Yeah, no, we're on the question, that's part of the question. It's delivery only exists if you're marketing and selling in the delivery of it. So the best coaches in the world, if they don't have that offer now, that marketing, that sale, and often people have one gap. And I think the actual marketing on the front end is massive for a lot of people who are an expert in something. And and another famous Joe Nicassio quote, which I don't even know if it was your quote, but I heard you say it was, the difference between being rich and being poor could be one good sales letter. And these days, sales letters, you don't see them as much these days, but people will say you're just one funnel away. One funnel away is what the internet would say. And
finding that one magic funnel.
That one magic funnel, right? I haven't found my one yet, and I know some people who have, but across organic, original sales letters or paid online marketing these days, what do you think is the most important aspect of that one great sales page?
I think that we're really good at lead generation. Most businesses suck at lead nurturing. And so by the time, what you want to do is nurture and warm them up and get them hot and bothered by your email sequences. So by the time you do have the conversation, they're already hot and bothered and lathered up. The harder my marketing works, the easier my selling goes. And so there's a difference between a marketing event and a marketing campaign. Marketing event is like, I'm doing this webinar, they either buy or they don't. But a marketing campaign is like, okay, we're going to generate leads. We're going to get them into our Facebook group. We're going to get them in chat conversations. We want to hit them from email, chat, and group. We want to keep adding value. You want to give them a piece. If I give you a piece of steak, okay, you might want more. If I give you a whole steak, then you're full and you're not going to buy anything from me. So it's really about, we need to learn to have the movie trailer. We know our marketing is about being the movie trailer. You don't give people the movie, you give them the movie trailer, which then gets them excited about buying the ticket to go to the movie. And so there's a whole, you need to get people's attention on the front end of your funnel. And then you need to lead them in. You need to keep them around, because otherwise they're back surfing. My friend Taki Moore says, people search the internet like a crazed monkey desperately searching for a banana. So it's tough. We got to get people's attention. We need to keep it. And then we need to, all of our marketing needs to consecutively build the case of why you should even pay attention to what Alex Morris is offering or what Joe Nicassio is offering. And so we use that education-based marketing to get them warmed up, to get them heated up. The job of our marketing is to generate leads, but the other job of our marketing is to fill our calendars with 8s, 9s, and 10s. Mm-hmm. And too many people are spending too much time talking to 3s, 4s, and 5s. And so if you're talking to a 3, 4, or 5, you need to send them back and create some material for them to keep them warmed up and heated up until they are an 8, 9, or 10. So when it's time for your strategy session, if your strategy session is full of 8, 9s, and 10s, and if you have the right strategy session process, the client will pull you over the goal line. They'll say, how do I work with you? I'm trying to give you my money. Like I've had this experience, and so the question was, the funnel. So, there's a lot of, you want to think of it like, there's like a law of constraints. So, a chain is only as strong as the weakest link. So what we want to do is, how do we get people in the funnel? Okay, how do we raise the buying temperature over time? And then how do we, fill up our calendar with 8s, 9s, and 10s? And I think that's going to give you a lot of keys to creating a true funnel that works.
Yeah, I think a lot of people assume you need to grab the sale or the booking on the first exposure, the first time they read that page, the first time they read that letter, first time they see your video. Very rarely happens.
these people that say, hey, I'm with so-and-so company, and I'm calling to see if you want help with your business. Let's book a strategy session. It's like, who are you?
Mm.
I get people asking me to buy crypto. It's like I meet them and they're talking crypto. 60 seconds later, want to invest. I'm like, I don't invest in people that I've only known 60 seconds. Like it's the biggest mistake ever.
And then they follow you
Don't
up every
feel
day
like-
saying, do you want to buy still? Are you interested? And without adding anything extra.
Let me tell you, the real problem with that is it puts dollar signs. Like they have dollar signs in their eye. They don't ask any questions to get to know you. There's no, connect at a human level first, and then the business stuff will fall in place with time as you build the know, like, and trust. There's a lot of depth to getting them to know you. There's a lot of depth to getting them to like you. There's a lot of depth to getting them to trust you. And so, people shortcut that stuff. And what I see is people trying to hit their financial goals. I don't set financial goals. I don't set income goals. I set impact goals. Okay. So in other words, if I have a goal to make, 20K this month, and it's near the end of the month and I'm falling short, I'm desperate to try and hit that goal. And what happens is now, the customer, the person that is evaluating the possibility of, hiring you for your business coaching, all they see from you is you got dollar signs in your eyes and you got commission breath. Okay. But I don't want those dollar signs in my eyes. I have impact goals. My goal, I have a very simple goal. In the next 12 months, I want to help 100 people grow an existing business or start a business from scratch. If I do that, I'll be a massive contribution. I'll have a huge impact. And oh, by the way, money's associated with it. So if you have money goals, convert them into how many sales do you need to do and turn them into impact goals, because it's not about me trying to make money. It's about me serving you and having that impact in your life. I'm here to impact your life as a coach, not just get rich. See, success is a me thing. I made money, but fulfillment is a we thing. Like, I made money, but you're so much better off as a result of it. So I want to have that impact. Giving better than receiving. Giving starts the receiving process. And if you're a coach or any kind of business owner, if you want to receive a lot, you got to learn to give a lot.
Yeah, you absolutely do. And I'm one of these people who is blessed and cursed with a massive amount of human. I put a lot of my own value in how well my clients are doing, which is a beautiful thing because it makes me care, but it also, it can get difficult sometimes.
So, you want to be careful on that. I care tremendously. So you want to make a promise that you can keep. A lot of people said, I can't make promises and keep them, but there are, you can say, oh, look, I'm going to charge you, $1,000 and we'll generate 100 leads. And if you don't hit that, if you don't get 100 leads, we'll keep running your ads at our own expense until you get 100 leads.
Yeah.
Okay. So in other words, you're not going to give them their money back, but you say, well, we'll put a little more into it and tweak it so that you get what you paid for. That's the thing is like, we live in a world. It's like, well, what's your guarantee? I don't have a guarantee. Why should I do business with you? So in other words, I'm giving you money in exchange. I got to roll the dice and maybe I'll win, maybe I won't. That sounds pretty freaking risky. I love when people have a realistic guarantee, a promise. They're saying, if you spend this money, I can promise you this result. And maybe it's not a cash register result. Maybe it's you'll feel better or things will go up instead of down. But when we go back to the offer, how important the offer is about my program has a promise.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a promise in your program, you don't have an offer.
It's a big call there, Joe. Big call. A lot of people, myself included, do not have a promise in their program. So that's a big call.
David Ogilvy, ancient, advertising guru, I think in his book, Ogilvy on Advertising, said, the biggest problem with most advertising today is the advertisers don't make a promise. And if you just simply shift your ad to having a promise, it'll do better. And here's what he said. You want to make the biggest promise you can make that you can deliver on. Okay. So you want to make the biggest promise you can that you can deliver on. But here's that's believable. So there's three parts. Big promise, but if it's over the top, it's not believable. It's just bullshit. That's my bullshit meter goes bing or bing, so you want to make a promise. You want to be able, even if you can deliver on it, sometimes you got to tone it down so it's believable. You want to make a promise that's believable that you can deliver on, man, that's a winner. That's a winner.
Yes. My brain is whizzing around right now thinking of what my own promise could be. It's a lot of variables in the marketing game from, just a lot of variables. One of my clients, he had his Facebook account hacked the other day, and so everything was down for 2 weeks. And that was, half a month lost. And now we're
You
going to
don't have
start
control over that.
No,
You
no,
could
exactly.
you could migrate them to Google Ads if you've got that skill in house.
There's another month of setup, So yeah, absolutely. You're right, though. You're right. So having contingency plans, all this stuff in place. Interesting, you mentioned Taki Moore, by the way, because I know you're in Los Angeles, California. Taki lives down the street from me, and he used to when I was a chef, he used to come in for breakfast at the cafe I was working at, and I was always impressed by this guy.
I got a man crush on Taki. He's so brilliant. He's got such a brilliant organization. His stuff is world class. He's the real deal.
Yep.
And I'm just so blessed to have him as a coach in my life.
Great. And I understand man crush. He's a very handsome man. Taki, if you're listening, I'm sure you're not.
Well, it's not the handsome. He is handsome, but my man crush is really centered more about he's a freaking genius. It's like I'm a genius at what I do, and it's like, dude, where'd you come from? Like you're so transcendent from even where I'm at. There are certain people that just have a gift or a set of gifts that it's like Elon Musk. It's like he's from another planet. It's like Talking More is like from another planet. But he's awesome. I love the guy.
Yeah, I was writing a Facebook post about him.
And that's another thing too. It's really important that coaches need coaches.
Totally. There's always a level where someone's always better than you at something. You got to keep.
It's not even about other people being better, and it's not about even fixing broken. It's about like peak performance. Here's a great coaching story. There was a girl in the Olympics, Michelle Quan. She was a figure skating, and she's more figure skating gold medals than like anybody in history, right?
Yep.
And I read an article in the LA Times. She had 9 different coaches.
Wow.
No wonder she took all the gold. She had a head coach. She had an emotional expression coach. She had a wardrobe coach. She had a choreography and music selection coach. She had a spinning coach. She had a jumping coach. And it's like when you work on your game if you polish all of those areas, how could you not help but be world class? And knowing that everyone else doesn't have those 9 coaches. So it's not just about fixing what's broken. It's for her. It's like, I want to be the best of the best. So I want to be advised by the best of the best. And unfortunately, here's the problem with social media is we get all this advice from people that their stuff kind of sounds good, but it's not grounded in the truth and what works.
Yeah.
And I got another 4 for that too. So
go on.
You're ready.
Go ahead.
So imagine, the way that people surf the internet and I'll watch these free videos and I learn a little here, and then I'll go watch somebody else's stuff. I'll learn a little over there. The way the metaphor I like to use is imagine you go to a high performance car trade show. So all the top high performance car makers are there. And you go by the Ferrari booth and they give you a Ferrari engine block, brand new, state of the art. And then you go by the Porsche booth and they give you brand new Porsche pistons, state of the art. And then you go to Mercedes and they give you the state of the art, fuel injector. You have all the state of the art components to build a car, but they don't work together. That's what you're doing when you surf the internet and do this stuff. You're learning all this stuff, but it's not integrated into one unified system. And that's why, this free stuff is actually crushing you. It's time you sit down and figure out, there's only 3 things you need to succeed at anything. Okay. You're going to like this. Number 1 is you got to have the hunger. Like Les Brown says, you got to be hungry. The second thing that you really need is you need a proven roadmap. Like first you do this, then you do this, then you do this. And then the third thing you need is, you need a support. It's good to have a mentor or a coach or somebody that can guide you when you get off the track. But if you have a roadmap, if you have the hunger and you have the roadmap, and then you got somebody that's going to hold you accountable and give you that deeper expertise to keep you on the path, you will succeed every time if you follow that formula. So for a lot of people, they don't have the hunger, or they got the hunger, but they don't have the roadmap, or they got the roadmap but they're lost in the woods. They're not on the railroad tracks anymore. So I love that metaphor. And I think it's very appropriate for you. You're in the, helping coaches. It's really important for them to know that don't do these 20 systems. Figure your one system, stick to that system, get support to get you from here to there. And as long as you got the hunger, this is another great tip, and this is good for you. It's good for the other coaches watching this is whenever somebody, I'll go through the whole strategy session and they're wanting to work with me. Okay. I have some things that I still turn people down for. So one of the questions I ask is on a scale of 1 to 10, in terms of creating a business that's truly working, how committed are you on a scale of 1 to 10? And if they say 9, it's like, whoa, I'm level 10 committed to your success and you're only level 9. I cannot accept you as a client until you get to level 10 because like if I'm more committed to you than you're committed to you, that's a problem. Why? Why is that an outside wants you to succeed more than you want to succeed? Like let's fix that now, or I can't take you, go away and come back when you are level 10. And that it's the complete opposite of like, here's why you should buy from me. Like, no, you can't buy from me because you're not ready. You're not committed at the level. I have this 100% success rate in helping people start a business, choose a business, build it. I charge 10K for 6 months with a guarantee you're going to make your money back in double. If you don't, I keep working with you until you do. How can I possibly go down that rabbit hole with somebody that's half-ass committed? It doesn't make sense.
That is consistently an issue. And I hope that most coaches listening will develop the confidence to say no to people like that, to call people out and just say, I'm here for you when you're here for yourself, because we all go through bad clients and clients who aren't right for us. We learn a lot from that, but it very rarely leaves two happy people. It often leaves a bit of a sour relationship that we hope we never have to have.
The real success of a business is partially your ability to sell, but really it's the ability to protect yourself from the toxic client. So, if you get really good qualifications and filters, here's a great way for a coach to build trust. You talk to somebody and, you want to help them, but, it's like you realize there's somebody that's way better at solving that problem than you. It's like, as much as I'd like to take your money, there's one person that I think will really help you 10 times better than me. So I could take your money and I can help you, but like, why don't you go check them out, because you have a specific problem and I'm willing to turn the business away because I really want you to win and get results more than I just want your money. That's a huge trust builder.
Yeah, a lot of good karma in that, I think. A lot of good karma in that. I love doing that. That's why the internet, podcasting, this has been such a beautiful thing to meet so many people who can solve so many problems for anyone who comes your way. Having a network of people to refer to, it's a really beautiful part of business, albeit remotely at the moment. We're doing our best, but thanks to the internet, you and I are having a conversation across the other side of the world, and I'm very, very happy about it.
It's a miracle, the technology is opening things up so much more than they were before.
Yeah, we're lucky boys, and it's been a real pleasure actually getting to meet you after absorbing some of your content and hearing about your journey, then seeing you face to face. You seem like a really happy dude, and business, being successful in business doesn't mean you have to be an old grouch anymore in a suit. You look like a happy guy in a t-shirt with a massive smile, and I've really enjoyed talking to you today, man. I've got to cut it there, but thank you so much for having a chat today, Joe.
Thank you for thanking me. I appreciate being appreciated.
Oh, stop it. It's just going to be a big love fest if we don't stop it there, man. Joe, I'm really excited to hear more about your business wisdom quest. That sounds like a really valuable thing for a lot of people. I'd love to get my hands on a copy of that Quit Your Job manual, because I've quit my job, but I think it'd be really valuable to a lot of people. So if you've got any links or anything, send them through. I'll put them in the podcast links, and we'll help people out as much as we can as a transcontinental team together.
There's a lot of coaches that, are business coaches. I think there's several differentiating things of why I'm different or better. But one of them is I actually work with startups and help them figure it out. A lot of people don't go into that territory.
Yeah.
I do guaranteed results. That's another one. I've got systems that work. That's another one. But I'm on a mission. This is, I sat down one day and did a little praying, like, God, should I really help these startups? Because it's a little tougher crowd to make money in. I do get paid and I charge significant fees for it. But, and the response I got back in my soul was, if you don't do this, Joe, no one else will. And I really feel called to do this work. I love seeing people start businesses and succeed and prospering. I hate seeing people fail, and I hate seeing people live their life on a soul-sucking job. And that's why I created the work I do, is to really help people become, here's another language thing that nobody talks about: self-reliance versus employer reliance. We've created an employer reliant culture, and I'm a stand for self-reliance is better than employer reliance or government reliance or charity reliance or family reliance or spouse reliance. If you have the ability to go into the marketplace and generate cash, it doesn't take money to make money, it takes customers. And if you can master those skills, you'll always be able to put food on the table and be a provider for your family. And a lot of people don't have those skills. They're out job hunting right now. And the moment you take a job saying, I will be your employee and you're my employer, you give away so much of your power. And I'm all about stop working for the man, be the man. Stop working for the boss, be the boss. We've been sold the goods. Go to school, get a good education, become someone else's bitch. And I don't buy into that. So if you want to get a hold of me, businessincubatorcommunity.com, that's my free Facebook group. And and if you reach out to me there, if we've never talked before, I have an offer. Let me buy you an hour of my time. Okay. My time is valuable, but everybody on this planet that's sincere, I will give you that first hour. And then after that, I become compassion for hire. If you pay me, I care. If you don't pay, I don't care.
How good. What a beautifully, refreshingly honest statement. I love that. Well, we're going to tag you in all the Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn posts, everything we got. We're going to make sure we direct people back towards you, Joe. And I'm really, really excited to go and consume more of your content after this conversation, man. So thank you so much. And I always like to give, one final thank you. So Joe, thank you again for being on the podcast today.
Namaste.
Namaste to you, my friend, and namaste to everyone listening. We'll be back. Actually, we have 3 podcasts booked in this week. Holy mackerel. So I'll be back tomorrow with another Coaches to the Moon. Until then, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Much love and